In this tutorial, we're going to use Photoshop CC 2020 in order to load and use different types of actions. So for this one, I've got 3 different types of actions already uploaded into Canvas or into Google Drive, depending on where you're pulling them from. And we're going to go ahead and learn how to install and use those to create some really interesting effects. So the first thing we're going to do is create this folded paper picture. So let's go ahead and close my intro. Let's go to the window. Let's come down here to Actions. We want to go out to the flyout panel, which is also the hamburger menu. I'm going to close my default. And in there, I want to come down to Load Actions. So it's about halfway down. Then in Load Actions, I want to go ahead and grab the actions that we have. So I've got wedding photography, I've got big pictures, and stickers and tape. For this one, I want big pictures. I'm going to go ahead and say Load. So you'll see that now I've got 3 different choices. I've got 25 photos flat and 25 photos curled. Now depending on your actions, will give you the order of what you need to do as far as order the opening images and such, and usually will give you the prompts. So we're going to go ahead and do 25 photos curled. We're going to select that one, and we're going to go ahead and push play at the bottom. And the first thing it's going to say is you need to open an image. So let's go say continue. And we're going to go ahead and grab our water lilies image in the folder, the flower, and say open. So now it's going to go through and automatically start doing all these different elements in order to make this photo action effect happen. So you can see there's a lot of different elements going on that if you were trying to do this on your own, you would have to be doing all by hand over and over again. So this is where using those Photoshop actions can save you a ton of work. You can also write your own actions. We're going to talk about that here in a little bit. So you can repeat. If you have repeatable processes, maybe you need to crop pictures to a certain size, maybe you need to do some type of really special effects. That's what we're using here for these individual types of actions. So it's really fun to watch it kind of go through and do these different things. So the one we've got here is the curled. For your on your own, you're going to go ahead and run the flat one. Of course, you can go through and find your own images. So just wait here for it to go through and finish up, so you can see that it's creating these little vignettes every single time, little square pictures. So this can be really a fun effect. Maybe you want to use it for a long article, maybe you want to use it for a table of contents, maybe you're trying to create something with a little bit of visual interest. Alright, so it is nearly done. Alright, it's going to say we're going to put a soft breeze over the top. So if you don't want to do that, say stop. I'm going to say continue, which means it's going to skew some of the photos, make it look like obviously a breeze came through. Alright, now you can go to continue. And it's saying a different version will be stored in your history palette. So if we go to window, say continue, it's going to create 3 different versions of this for us. Now we're going to stop. If we hit history, we can now see what it looked like with the breeze, what it looked like for transformation 1, and what it looked like with transformation 2. So all you need to do is select which one you really like, depends on what you're going to use it for, and do a file and a save as, and we're going to call it first initial, last name, underscore flower curled collage. Now once you turn this off and come back in, you will not have that history palette anymore, so you need to make sure that you close it on the one that you actually like. And let's go ahead and save that as JPEG. And say save. And I'll go ahead and say maximum. So now if I close this, no, I don't want to save my copy of my original. If I go File, Open Recent, if I look at, now let's just go Open. Let's look at my curled collage, which we just barely did. You'll notice now my history folder is totally empty. So I only have that 3rd version that I chose, that's the one I save. So if you like all three, make sure you save all three before you close it down. Alright, so that's what you're going to do in order to create your first using an action photo. For the second, we're going to try Windows. We're going to try one called Stickers and Tape. So I'm going to go ahead and close this down. I'm going to go to Window. I'm going to come down here to Actions. We need to load the action. Let's go to the Flyout panel. I'm going to minimize that one. We want to come down here to load our action. And this time, we want to grab that Stickers and Tape and say Load. Alright, so stickers and tapes gives us round stickers and clear tape. We're going to go ahead and play with clear tape. So I'm going to say clear tape. We're going to follow the prompts and say go. Alright, make sure you've already opened one image. So let's make sure we stop. It says landscape, but we're doing a portrait one. So we're going to go ahead and open our image, which is going to be of the boat, the sailboat here, and say open. Alright, so now look at all the steps it takes in order to create that clear tape effect, which you would have to do one at a time if you wanted to create this on your own. So that's where having these actions comes in really handy. Let's also at this point double check our preferences on our history states. So let's go Edit, come down to Preferences, and we want to go to Performance. And we want to bump our history states up as high as it'll go. If you're on a Mac, so I've got mine up at 1000. If you're on a Mac, you want to go to the little apple shape, and underneath there is where your preferences are hiding. So that makes it so it'll remember the last 1000 things you did, not just the last 50, because you can see right away that the last 50 isn't going to get us very far in a action like this. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and my clear tape and push play. I've already got it, so I'm going to say continue, and it's going to go through the process of turning this into, okay, so it's going to say you can change the tape width. So we're going to go continue, and maybe I want to make this even wider tape. Alright, once I like it, I'm going to hit the commit, and I say continue. Okay, so now we're going to create some bubbles under the tape. So for the bubbles under the tape, you have the option of changing just how exact those bubbles are. Usually default's not too bad. And let's say OK. Now it's going to say we're going to play with the threshold. To the right, the white areas become the bubbles. So anywhere that is a bubble is going to turn into, and we can change that with just loading this slider. And let's say OK. Alright, continue, and we can tweak the bubbles. Now we can duplicate the layers if we want to add more tape. So this tape layers, if we go to Actions, let's go ahead and close it. If you duplicate this one, you can duplicate the group, and you can create more tape layers if that's what you want to do. You can also skew. If you want to move this, skew it over, move it, play with your tape a little bit. Alright, so you're going to do a file, save as. You're going to run a first initial, last name, and underscore, let's call this one boat tape .jpg, and say save. And OK. For the on your own on this one, I want you to go ahead and play with the round stickers option. So for round stickers, I'll go ahead and walk you through it. Let's go ahead and do window. Let's open up a image first. Open. Let's go ahead and make a sticker of our water lilies that we already had earlier today. So let's go up our flowers and say OK. I'm going to switch it to round stickers and say play. It's going to say open an image. Okay, so it wants to do it in a different order this time. So we'll continue. Let's go File, Open, grab our image. So each action's written a little bit differently. Alright, it's not fitting at all, so I'm going to go ahead and stretch it out. And so I fill my sticker, adjust it, so you get what you want in your image. Okay. I'm going to push enter to commit that, and it's going to go ahead and make those changes for us and go through the process of creating a sticker. Alright, so the first sticker is ready. If you like this one, say stop. If not, say continue. So we're going to go ahead and take a peek. It's going to create those two different ones. So I'm going to close my flower, and here's my action. So now I can see side by side the two different versions of my sticker. So I'd save those as sticker border, sticker without border, and submit those as well. So you can see just how many steps, let's look at the history, it takes in order to make that one sticker that you didn't have to do just because you use the action. So that works out really, really well. And you can do some fun effects with this. Think about how you can use these in your publications or in other things that you're creating. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and close these down. Go ahead and save it. First initial, last name, sticker 1, sticker 2. And save it. Alright, file, save as. Alright, let's change that to 2. And save. Alrighty, so now we've installed a few different actions. Let's play with one other type of action, which is filters, which is something I'm sure if you've played with any kind of social media, you have played with filters before. So let's go ahead and file open. Let's go grab our picture of the bride. So we've got a couple on the beach with some kiddos. So what can we do with that? Sometimes we want to create a situation where more of our photos look similar. So you can do that by creating a filter effect to all of them. Especially if you have photos that are coming from a lot of different types of sources, those filters can come in handy. So we're going to go ahead and make sure we have our 15 wedding photo actions. We're going to go here to our actions panel, go to our hamburger menu, load action, and go ahead and grab our wedding photography actions and push load. Now you'll see there's a lot of different types of actions already built in here. So you could go through and run each of them one at a time, which is kind of a pain, or this one actually has one built in, so it will do all of them at once. So click all effects is at the bottom and go ahead and push play. And it's actually going to go through and create a sample of every single one of those action effects. So kind of sometimes if you're trying to figure out what it's going to look like, I'm just going to say an OK. Whoa, that turned out ugly, didn't it? Alright, so it is going through and running all those effects. Now it looks really weird right now, partially because they're all turned on at once. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off the eyeballs on all but one. Alright, so that's my action 1, 2, 3. You can have multiple on at once, but usually it looks a little weird. So it's a matter of picking which one you like the best. If you save these as a PSD, you will keep all these different versions. So it's a very easy way to come up with a lot of different looks and feels without having to do a whole lot of work. Let's do File, Save As, and let's go ahead and do first initial, last name, underscore bride. Now I'm going to go ahead and save this as a JPEG, which means it's going to lose a lot of the extra stuff. I'm just going to keep this one version, especially because we're uploading to Canvas, and sometimes these with lots and lots of layers take up a lot of extra room, and we might not necessarily want that. Alright, so I want you to go through, find one more image, and play with those different effects and features, and find something else that you like to play with. So in this one we went through how to install and load different types of actions in order to get a lot of different types of effects. If you look in the additional folder, you will see some other actions that have been loaded for you to play with, so you can try different types of things. Sometimes it's worth the 5 minutes of looking to see if there's an action already recorded for something that you want to do, so that you can make your process of designing go so much faster. That's all for this one.